don't really know where the world is gonna go. But now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep.
The first step in generating wealth is to pay yourself first.
But now everybody knows.
Stay tuned.
Stay protected.
Stay focused.
Stay connected.
There's a lot of different types of HELOC products that are now on the market, some of them geared towards velocity banking, and that's really good news.
This is probably the largest asset you will ever have in your life.
Right.
Here's some direction and some instruction on how to leverage this vehicle so that you can help yourself, help your family, accomplish your goals. We're not educated that way.
We use a strategy to pay off our home in 4 years.
Validation of your retirement account says what you thought was a retirement account is no longer one.
When I tell you, you're going to be shocked to learn. If you didn't come from a wealthy family,
You can make sure a wealthy family comes from you. So it starts with pay yourself first today,
Yeah, starting today.
right now. Put your money in somewhere secure. It's about the ability to not lose. I will take base hits all day long versus winning and losing. Somewhere secure, compound your money, and then you leverage OPM, other people's money, to exponentially grow it. That's how you generate wealth.
So whether you're joining us to crush debt or build wealth, time is the most valuable asset.
and we're so grateful that you're spending your time here with us.
Keep going.
Good evening. This is a little bit different for us tonight. We are jumping on here just a short little bit. Can you guys hear us okay? There is just some information that's going around social media in these social media streets, and we wanted to address it. So that's what tonight's about.
So what it is, it's been an interesting week in the markets, right? And we've, at least me, my feed has been getting bombarded with all of this information related to what you should be doing during this time. And my issue with all of that is, I don't know that the message that's being sent in these social media streets, as you put it, is the right message. So just what I wanted to talk through was, I just wanted to rehash an old subject that we've discussed before, but I just want to make sure while we are going through these challenging times, while we're dealing with whatever this administration does or doesn't do, or tariffs on or tariffs off, there's a lot that we can control and there's a lot that we can't. So I just wanted to kind of just share my perspective on what we can control, what we cannot control, and reiterate where the opportunities are. And I think an approach, just simply an approach. This is not a, you should only do this, or there's only one way. It's an and discussion, meaning understand the pieces that you can control, take action where you can take control. And for the areas that you can't, sit back and watch the show, because there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So.
Yeah, but what are we talking about? I mean, that's really like what is in social media. Why should somebody watch this? Why should you stay and tune in? Why should you share this out with somebody? I think we, on the thumbnail, if you see it, it says, Dear Gen X, right? Don't be fooled, be focused. And that's what we're really talking about, is what is out there in terms of advice and the scare tactic, or the circus
Right.
of advice and celebration that's happening right now, and how to sort it out. What does it actually mean for you? You versus somebody else, you versus somebody with more time, you versus somebody who cannot risk or gamble with these conditions. Does it seem like get rich quick? Is it true?
Right. And these words like recover, like, hey, the market took a dip this week. It's on sale. Buy more.
Right.
Like, you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Ride it out. Like, it's these types of things that I don't know that we fully understand, or a lot of us fully understand. Not even the finfluencers. Is that what you call it, finfluencers?
Yeah.
And not even the finfluencers fully understand the impact of what it is they're saying. Meaning, when the market takes a dip and you're being told that it will recover, what does that mean mathematically? Like, what does that mean to your actual account? What is the impact of a dip? And when they say, hey, don't worry about it, you'll recover. Well, how long does that actually take? Like, how long would it actually take for me to recover from a dip in the market? And once you understand that, what can you do about it? Like, if the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. What can you actually do about it? What action can you take? And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. And so about that, I'm sure you guys are seeing the same thing too. Tons of people talking about what are those indicators that they're watching that are signaling that the market's about to crash, and it's actually signaling people to start selling, which then does cause the market to crash. But regardless of all of that, where do you fit into this, and where does the stock market, where do your stock options fit inside of your portfolio, and really how does it serve your goal? So that's, if you've been here for a while, you know that it all comes back to the goal.
Right.
What is the goal? What impacts your ability to achieve that goal? And how do you stay focused through all of this discourse and distraction? It's really a distraction. People talking about what you should do, or maybe where there's some opportunities, but you got to get in there. And right now it almost feels like people are gearing up to, like it's a Black Friday, right? Black Friday on Wall Street.
The market's on
Yes,
sale.
and what you should do to prepare yourself for what are you going to buy, and strategize so that you can get in and get the, what is it called when you get there, when the doors first
the
doorbusters.
doorbuster.
Yeah, you can get the doorbuster deals. And does that even make sense for your goal? So that's really what we're going to talk about. Again, we've tried to address some issues that we've been having here with our live stream with audio, and we've turned up. If we need to turn up a little bit more, we definitely can. So give us that feedback, because this is also could be a pseudo test. Tech run for us too.
Why we wanted to jump on, because normally we go live on Tuesday is the plan, and it's still the plan to go on Tuesday. We decided to jump on here for twofold. One, it's a message that I think needs to get out, so here's an opportunity to get it out early. And then two, we have made some adjustments and some changes, so we just want to see what the impact is before we go live on our normal life. This is going to be a very quick stream, because I don't think there's a whole lot of belaboring that needs to happen. If there's questions out there, please still ask. Please still put a queue in front, and I'll be happy to do so. This should move pretty quick.
Nathan says he's only getting audio from one channel. Is it only me? Okay, Nathan, when he's going to go around to the Vibe board, and I'll go check that out. Thanks for that feedback. All right, ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
The goal should be, where can I achieve exponential growth? Exponential growth.
Let's just get into it. Let's just get
All right. So sound-wise, how we doing over here?
Well, I can hear you, so we'll have to just wait to hear from them.
Yeah, no problem. So again, this is going to be a fairly quick live stream, and we've done this before where we've talked about understanding the impact of what a market crash causes. Like, what does that actually mean to your portfolio? And because most people don't touch on that part. They say, hey, something happened in the market, and hey, it's on sale, and these are the actions that you should or shouldn't take, or buy more, whatever those, but they never truly share with you the impact on what it is you're doing. And so I just wanted to, it's almost like a riddle. Ever wonder what $1 trillion looks like? And I mean, truly, $1 trillion in $100 bills. Have you ever thought about what that actually looks like? And in truth, this is a billion, meaning we're talking about, not do that, let's do that. We're talking about 10 pallets of about 6 foot high $100 bills plus some. Like, this is a fairly large amount of money. But what is $1 trillion? And just to kind of put this scale in perspective, this right here is the White House layout. East-west wing, including the White House. This back here is a 747 or 777 and a football field. So when we're talking about $1 trillion, we're talking about a significantly sized amount of money. Well, why do I bring this up? Like, why does this matter? Well, in 2022, in all of our retirement accounts, we all lost $3 trillion in 2022. That was just 2022 is when we lost this $3 trillion. That was the last time the market took a dip. We are headed in that direction today. Will we get there or not? Don't know. Don't have a crystal ball. Not trying to predict the market. All I am saying is, how much control did the person who owned your retirement dollars have over what happened in the market during that period? So whether it was your money was with Edward Jones or Morgan Stanley or Fidelity, doesn't matter who it was with, doesn't matter the person that was managing those funds. What control did they have over this impact in 2022? About zero. There was nothing that they could do to assist you with what happened here. The market did whatever the market did. Well, what did they tell you though? What was the message during that period? The message during that period, and I'll zoom in on it, the message during that period was, don't worry about it. The market's on sale. You will recover. Well, who is the you? you will recover. Don't worry about what, just keep buying. The market is on sale, you'll recover. Hey, dips happen and you buy the dip, right? You buy on the dip. You add more money to it, more money that you don't have, but you buy more of it, right? That's the message. But no one ever says mathematically, what does that mean? What does it mean when you keep buying and the stock market is on sale? What specifically in dollars does that look like? And so just wanted to kind of highlight what that means. Because ultimately, you nor your financial advisor had much control over any of what happened in 2022. So as the Dow or the S&P or the NASDAQ was dipping, some of us lost somewhere around 10%. Well, what does that recovery time look like? If you lost 10% in the market, mathematically, how long would it take for the money that you lost to be recovered, to get back to even, simply get back to even? And there's some assumptions here. We're assuming about a 7% return in the market and roughly 3% inflation. But the bottom line is a 10% dip takes about 17 months to recover. Not much, but still, if your goal is to retire this year and the market takes a dip of 10%, what is that impact to your retirement account and your ability to still be able to retire this year? You need to think about that. Or better yet, if the market lost 24%, we're talking about 3.4 years is the amount of time that it would take before your account just broke even. Or the worst case scenario, a market crash of 45%, and I don't care which one, it's your retirement dollars, because that's where they're located. We're talking about a 6.5 years, 6.4 years it takes for you to just get back to even. Do you have that kind of time? And matter of fact, who are these people talking to when they say, don't worry about it? Because think about it. And I'm speaking, and this is where I started to get angry, and I'm going to try not to get angry doing this live. When I was watching these influencers tell me don't be concerned, it dawned on me, my parents' generation, they're already retired. So they're already living off Social Security. They're already living off whatever their retirement, it is what it is my point. But my generation, Gen X, we are stepping into this. So those influencers are actually talking to me. They were saying, Donnell, don't be concerned. You have time to recover. What they're saying is, you know what? If you thought you were going to retire at age 60, 62, 61, whatever that age is, you might have to add about 6 years to that. Am I supposed to be okay with that? Are you okay with that? And has anyone ever broke down to you what the impact of a market crash is? And I get it. We are talking about 2022. You may be saying to yourself, Donnell, okay, I understand the market is turbulent or whatever the case may be, but why are we talking about 2022? Like, what does 2022 have anything to do with me today and whatever these influencers are talking about? Well, I don't know if you realize it, but this week, not this year, this week, we lost $3.5 trillion in the market. You don't believe me? So I don't care where you look. This is the message being sent. And again, maybe it's because I follow too many of these folks, but my timeline is being bombarded with how to respond to this $3.5 trillion loss in the market. To be specific, the S&P 500 lost 3.5, the NASDAQ lost 3.5, and the Dow Jones lost 2.4. So the market itself lost $3.5 trillion. How long, if we continue down this path, how long will it take for me to recover is the question. And again, these people talking about it, what are they telling you? What is your feed filled with? Because I know what mine is filled with. It is filled with, don't worry about it. You're young. You can handle whatever's happening in the market. The market is on sale. Please keep buying. But let me maybe dumb this down a little bit. But let me dumb this down a little bit. And here's what I mean. If we're talking about the market crashing and the market taking a dip, what does that honestly mean though? What that means is imagine yourself with $100. and the market takes a dip of 50%. Again, market crashes 50%. You lose 50% of your retirement. You've got $100, the market crashed 50%. That means you're left with what? If you started with $100 and the market crashed to 50%, that means you now have $50 left. Simple math. But what if the market recovers? That same 50% you lost recovers the following year.
I already did it.
And so if the market recovers and you make back the 50% you lost, you make back the 50% you lost, what does that mean? That means you now have gained back 50% of $50. So let me do it again, because I know, move kind of fast. Let's say you've got $100. The market loses 50%. 50% of $100 leaves you with $50. Now the following year, the market recovers and it gains back the 50% that was originally lost. Again, gains back the 50% that was originally lost. If you have a financial advisor, your financial advisor goes, hey, the market fully recovered. We lost 50% last year. We gained that 50% back this year. We have now gained back everything we lost. Well, let me show you that math. Because what they're telling you and what actually happened are a little bit different. Meaning, if you've got $100, and again, the market crashes 50%, that means that $100 is now $50. Pretty simple, right? Well, then the market recovers the 50% that it lost. And what your financial advisor or those financial institutions say, see, fully recovered. No, because 50% of $50 is $25. And when I add that to the money that I originally had, I am left with what? $75. So what does that mean? That means in order for me to just simply get back to even where I left, it requires the market to do what? I can't have 100% improvement in the market. I'm sorry, I gave the answer, I said it the wrong way. I can't have a 50% recovery in the market. I need 100% recovery in the market, meaning I need to make back everything that I lost to have a full recovery. So what the market does doesn't matter. What happened in my account? That's the question. How much money do I have available to me now versus before? So again, when we're talking about what you can or can't or how you will or won't recover from what happened this week, it is not about whether or not you will recover by continuing to buy. The question is, what is the impact to you and your portfolio and your net worth? To put this into even more simple terms, I think I have it up here. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't know if I've ever shared this. I want to say I have, but this is just the performance of the S&P 500 since before the Great Depression. I think it's right at the Great Depression, actually. This is just, again, simply the performance of the S&P 500. I want to focus on this area. This is the years 2000 to, let's call it right now. So I'll zoom in on this area. So to be specific, I am talking about the years 2000 to, let's call it, maybe it's 2012, maybe let's call it 2015. My point is this: what happened in 2000? Anyone know as it relates to the market? Well, this right here is the dot-com bubble. Meaning the market crashed somewhere around 2000. Okay, if you were set to retire in 2000, when the market crashed, and this is now how you're going to start your livelihood, it took you 2 compound cycles, which would put you somewhere around 2012. It took 2 compound cycles for you to for your original account to just get back to even. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't retire. I'm sure people still retired in here. My point is this: if at the year 2000 your plan was to retire with $1 million in your your retirement account and the market dipped, you no longer had $1 million. You had something significantly less than that. And you didn't get back to even until 12 years later. But remember, the market was on sale. Remember, the market's on sale. Keep buying. You'll be just fine. You'll recover. 2 compound cycles is anywhere from 10 to 15 years. So don't tell me that the market, don't tell me I'll be fine. Tell me mathematically what that means. And here's my point. My point is, we have very little control over any of it. Meaning, I don't know what this administration will or won't do. I don't know where your money should or shouldn't be. But here's what I know. I know traditional retirement accounts are focused here. Traditional retirement accounts are tied to the market. And I know my objective, my goal is to put all of the pieces to my puzzle in a position to where I can get it out of the market and have more control so that I can produce compound interest. But let's be specific as to what that means. What I'm saying is I need to shift this equation. One is the investment equation. What is the difference between the compound equation and the investment equation? The difference is just simply this piece here. Risk. Where is your money today and how much of your money is at risk? Is there an opportunity to move what you have into a position where it's a bit more secure? So this is not an or discussion. I am not telling you to liquidate your company's retirement. What I am saying is be conscious of what's happening. Be aware of where your money's located. You are sitting here, which means whether Elon Musk says something stupid, whether there's a tariff or not, you have very little control over it, which means you are at risk. So minimize the risk. Your company provides you a retirement account with a match, take it. Take all of it. Take all of their match. But know you are dependent solely upon them and their strategy if anything was to happen. So what do? It's an and conversation. So now I'm going to take advantage of my company's retirement account, but I'm going to move everything I can into a bit more of a secure process. And again, what specifically do I mean? I'm talking about financial independence. I'm talking about putting yourself in a position to where you are no longer dependent upon what is or isn't happening in some situation that you don't even play a role in. It's not being dependent on these markets. And yes, that can look like savings. That can look like traditional retirement accounts outside of the market. How do you do that? We'll talk about it. It could be leveraging your home, putting your mortgage in a position to where you can have more access to your equity right now to buy more assets, to grow your money, to build compound interest, to have your money go create employees and your money make its own money. And the last one is, and we talk about it a lot, properly designed cash value life insurance products. These are the opportunities. But again, let's be a bit more specific. So as it relates to, and again, this is something that we've shared before, the risk return pyramid. This area is about as secure as you can get. What's down here? We're talking bonds, life insurance investments, savings accounts, money market accounts. We're talking very secure base items. But here's the problem. Everything at this base, it may be secure, but as far as the, I'll call it the ability to generate positive returns, it's kind of low. Meaning you're not going to make a whole lot of money in vehicles sitting here. This middle section that includes your mutual funds, this is where most of our traditional retirement accounts are located. These have great growth opportunity, emphasis on the word opportunity, because of the stock market impact. Meaning there's risk involved with the stock market, but there's an opportunity to make great dollars. And then this piece, this section here is all about leverage. Most of the millionaires who become millionaires in this section are because they understand how to use other people's money. So is there an opportunity to use other people's money while getting the growth of the market, while making sure your money is secure and you don't lose it? Are there opportunities like that? There's opportunities like that all over the place. But don't assume your company's retirement account checks all 3 of these boxes, because it does not. Which is why, if you were in the market, We lost $3.5 trillion this week. And we have no idea as to what the rest of these weeks are going to present. So what do you do? Again, the first step is acknowledging where you are. Are you here? And if you are here, what is the opportunity to reduce the risk so that you can put your money in a position to where you can build it securely? And again, it's pay yourself first. What does that mean? That means while you're contributing to your company's retirement account and you're taking advantage of their match and you reduce your contribution to meet their match, you now have additional cash flow. What are you doing with that cash flow? How are you paying yourself first? Before you pay a bill, before you pay your mortgage, how are you paying you? Where are you putting it? And it's not, I'm going to wait until after I pay off this thing. Yeah, I got this additional cash flow because I did reduce what I'm contributing into my company's retirement account because I want my money to be more secure. I'm going to wait until I pay off this thing. No, it's pay yourself first right now. Where though? It needs to be somewhere secure. What are those vehicles you can place your money in that you know they will compound securely? And as you place your money in that vehicle that's secure, now your money starts to make its own money. That's where the compounding starts. And if the feature that you're the asset that you're placing your money in doesn't give you an opportunity to exponentially grow it, what do I mean? Meaning if there's not an opportunity to add additional leverage, you're missing an opportunity. This is how you generate wealth. It is not complicated. It is literally these factors. Pay yourself first, starting today, put your money somewhere secure, compound your money, and then exponentially grow it through leverage. Where are those opportunities? And again, this is one of those things that we talk about a lot. It can start here. And SCIA is a made up term, secure compound interest account. And I have it equals a leveraged IUL. That is not the only secure compound interest account. Like, I want to make sure I don't leave out annuities. Annuities are also, if I can spell it right, annuities are also a secure compound interest account. Here's an opportunity for those of you, and I'm going to speak specifically to my Gen Xers in the military who are really close to retirement, but they're not at real retirement age, true retirement age being 59 and a half. I'm talking about those younger Gen Xers who are, let's call it 48, 52, 51, who are retiring from the military, and they have all of these benefits and all of this income coming in and not unsure where to put it. We definitely want to get it into a vehicle that is more secure. And if you find yourself in a position to where you've got a previous employer's TSP, there's an opportunity to put it to work into an annuity. You don't need it. So let's get it compounding. Let's get that money making its own money. Why? There are some pretty awesome annuities out there that can give you some pretty secure growth. Or we're talking about funding your SCIA, putting your money in a position to where not only is it growing exponentially, but you also get to use it and leverage it while you're here today, however you want to use it. So it's putting your money in a position to where this isn't just a vehicle that can produce supplemental income for you, but it's also a vehicle that that can leverage to be used to buy other assets. Again, we talk about it a lot. But in addition, don't forget about your your self-directed IRAs and self-directed 401ks. And again, these are the vehicles that we talk about often. Let's drill in a little bit. When I'm talking about a self-directed IRA, I am not talking about whatever Fidelity offered you to be able to invest in the mutual fund, stocks, and bonds that they provide. I'm saying we're moving your current retirement dollars at old TSP into a new custodian and creating a brand new self-directed IRA. That IRA is not tough enough. It's not strong enough to be able to actually have checkbook control over those dollars. The structure doesn't exist. So the IRA itself has to purchase an LLC. This LLC now lives inside of this IRA. This IRA now owns this LLC. But with the EIN number of that LLC, you now have checkbook control over all of those retirement dollars. So now, I guess some of the nervousness that's happening in the market is people are looking for plots of land to be able to build homesteads. What if your IRA could buy a homestead? What if your IRA could buy the land that you could actually build upon to be able to have a income producing vehicle inside of your self-directed IRA. And don't forget about converting it to Roth. So if you're looking for security, the vehicle itself, the IRA itself, is pretty secure. The problem is it's only invested in mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. So how do we get those dollars moved into a different position? And then most people think the Roth IRA is actually the greatest vehicle, but it's not. How about a Roth 401k? And a 401k is different from an IRA. How? A 401k, we would move those old dollars into a new plan, a new vehicle. But a 401k functions like a trust. A 401k has its own EIN number. Because the 401k has its own EIN number, here's an opportunity for you to fully have checkbook control over all of your previous retirement dollars to be able to invest in what you want. And I keep talking about investing in what you want, but I very rarely dig into specifically what do I mean. Let's talk about it. I usually skim over this slide. I usually just show this slide, but I actually want to read this slide. So I want to drill in a little bit. When I say invest in non-traditional investments, this is a short list, but I do mean real estate to include self-storage facilities. There's a lot of people buying land, paving it, and charging truckers to store their trailers on it. There's a lot of opportunity here, and your 401k, your IRA can own all of it. Foreclosures. Is there not an uptick in foreclosures right now? Is there not an opportunity for you to take those retirement dollars and purchase some of those properties to be able to place your retirement in a more secure position to be able to generate and build wealth?
Assets.
That's it. Mortgages, mortgage pools, deeds, notes, water rights, whatever. I don't even know what water rights are, but it sounds amazing. Just understand that your retirement account can buy them. I wish someone could tell me what a water right is.
Yeah, anybody?
You can do it.
Anybody?
Hard money lending. This is my favorite here because a lot of times when people get their self-directed retirement account, they reach back out to me and they go, Donnell, I don't know what to invest in. And this right here, all this requires is the opportunity to present itself. Who's not standing in a dealership right now looking at purchasing this vehicle and they're trying to understand how they're going to finance it? Couldn't you become the financing for your favorite individual's investment opportunity? And I'm not talking about family because there are rules here and I'm not going to dig into all of those rules. But my point is the opportunity to just simply become a hard money lender is how you can use your retirement dollars to grow more. And the beauty of being a hard money lender is you set the rules. How about buying tax liens, private businesses? And I need to change my stance on this, but I have not. I do not own anything related to any crypto anything. And it's because I have my own view of this. But here's what we know about this administration. We know this administration is crypto friendly. So I fully understand those of you who are in this space and holding in this space, because we are dealing with an administration that is going to do everything they can to pump up this situation. So get in on the pump, but be careful of the dump. And I'll leave it at that. Limited liability partnerships, private placements, precious metals, not to be confused with, what's the word? Precious metals, not to be confused with, what is the word? Antique cars.
Right. Yeah. Collectibles. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Collectibles.
Precious metals, not a problem. You can go buy your, because I think DJT got his own coin now. You can go buy your coins. You can go buy your gold and silver. That's not a problem. Matter of fact, I've got clients who own, their gold is being stored in mines down the street. I mean, physical bars of gold being stored in mines. It is happening. It's a thing. And your 401k can buy it. And your 401k can own it, and the appreciation and the growth on whatever the product is, your 401k can receive it. And imagine doing this as a Roth product. And then lastly, LLCs. You can run out here and buy businesses all day long. My point in sharing this is there's not a whole lot we can control as it relates to the market. But what we can do is put our money in a position so that we are less impacted. So what does that mean? That means putting yourself in a position to where you can just simply become self-directed. It is understanding how these vehicles fit, whether we're talking a self-directed IRA or 401k, an IUL with leverage. We talk a lot about infinite banking, whether it's converting your mortgage into a first position home equity line of credit or simply using velocity banking to free up cash flow so that you can put that cash flow to work to be able to receive and or have access to these other vehicles. It doesn't matter what the approach is. It is the control part. What do you currently control today? Because these finfluencers are going to get you in trouble. These finfluencers are telling you some things that, again, and I think the part that irritated me the most is they are speaking to my generation. We are the ones headed into retirement. My son does have time to recover. My son can make an adjustment. But me, you're telling me now I'm supposed to get comfortable with having 7 more years before I can retire? I'm calling BS on that. But what control do I have either way? So the key is to put my dollars in a position so that I can at least have more control to be able to take the action when I want. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to jump in real quick to say one of the most interesting stats that I was looking at here just recently was your time horizon to retirement, the average retirement age being 65. Mm-hmm. Probably not going to say this all right, but it's the healthy timeline. What is your time horizon of healthy years that we have? And if the average age of retirement is 65 for the U.S., it was 66 and a half years old.
Before your body starts to hurt and you can't physically
before things rapidly decline. Yep. And so if people are thinking, well, I'll just retire at 65, I'll work until 65. 59 and a half was the earliest I could retire. Going to 65 won't be that much worse, right?
Right.
But then when you, and we even personally know someone with this story, he had worked his whole life, went to retirement age, retired. And what he's saying is that you got 15 months. It's average. Not saying that's how much you will have. That's how much I will have. It's just average 15 months of those healthy years before things start declining. And now all of the work that you put in doesn't matter because you have worked your healthy years during those years. You've given somebody else all of that time and you can't get it back. So asking yourself, can I put another 5 years, another 7 years in past that?
You'll recover. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
What is it that we're actually gambling?
Right.
Because a lot of the people who are retiring 65 even, they're not retiring because they chose to, because they had some, healthy retirement account that they could get income from. It's not, or multiple sources of income. That's not the case. And that's where I wanted to move into these other stats that we were looking at is where is the income coming from? Because a lot of these people are forced to retire. Now, there's going to be some people that are going to say, but people are living longer.
Right.
Guys, did you consider that? We did consider that. Living longer doesn't necessarily mean that those are your healthy years, right? Living longer doesn't necessarily mean that you are able to do the same things and enjoy life. It just means you're living. So it's up to us right now to decide and determine if we're going to give ourselves the best chance forward. And that is really why we wanted to jump on here. Because there's a lot of people who are looking at this going, yes, today I can take that risk. Yes, today it seems worth it. But we always encourage you to do the math all the way through. Do the long math, not the short math. Do the long math. We're talking the 20-year math, the 30-year math. Do all the math. Because when you see what you're actually risking, when you're seeing what it may actually cost you, you may go, I would not pay that for that.
And the piece that I also don't want to get lost here is understanding where your control is located. Because it's not that, again, I call these and conversations. It's not that you should only do this or you should only do that. It's where's your control located? How much control do you have over what will or won't happen in the market? You don't. So is there an opportunity for you to gain more control? And here's what that means. That means you have to become an active participant. I think we've been led to believe that all we have to do is do our 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, whatever it is, and put this dollar amount into Social Security and put this dollar amount into my company's retirement account and I will be taken care of. That does not exist. We are far beyond that. So there are some other actions that are required of us to be able to, I'll call it, jump over these traditional pieces like Social Security, like our traditional retirement account. There's some other things that we need to take action on so that we push those down to the supplement and the primary becomes these other vehicles. Why? One, we don't know whether Social Security will be here.
Well, let's talk about it. Yeah. And I think we do need to talk about that because I think a lot of people are assuming they will have a plan.
Right.
And if you have failed to plan, you've planned to fail. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. You've heard all these things before over here on our channel. But I just want to invite anybody who's watching, I want to invite you to be a part of the conversation because are you concerned? Does this concern you? Are these part of the conversations that you're having in your home and in your family? Why is this important to talk about? Even if it doesn't sound super charged, right? It doesn't have to be charged. It could be just, what's the plan?
Right.
What is our plan?
Right.
Because a lot of people just in the back of their minds, they didn't have to talk about it because in the back of their minds, they were thinking to themselves and assuming for each other, at least we'll have Social Security. I don't know that we can have the same confidence in that today. But let's take a look at what that does actually look like and has looked like. Because I think when we're talking about the stock market, things being on sale, how does that play a part? Diversifying your portfolio. What does it actually mean when in terms of income? How diverse is your income? Because your net worth is something completely different, but how diverse is your income sources? And do those does your net worth and where it sits, does that equal income? So we've talked about like 4% rule. We've talked about target date theories. We've talked about a lot of these concepts that impact where income, how much income. But I think understanding just historically where the bulk of people's income have come from, it might be an eye opener for you. So you ready?
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay. Here we go.
And I'll zoom in where I can, but this is something that kind of came about just before we had jumped on here. And let me pull up my handy dandy. So what we're talking about here is where Americans' retirement income, the majority of the source that it comes from. And there are a few different pieces to the puzzle here. You're looking at Social Security, which is sitting, I guess I'll do that because I know it's kind of hard to see. Social Security is here. We're talking about your company's retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks here, a work-sponsored pension plan and or retirement account. And what's interesting here is there's an intersection between IRAs and 401ks and company pension plans that happen at this point. And then from here on down, we're talking equity in your home, individual stock portfolios, and down here at the bottom, we're talking about annuities and properly structured cash value life insurance products. And I find it interesting that down here at the bottom is that. And this is kind of broken out in the percentage of what is actually being, I'll call it, I don't want to use the word spent, but how much the majority of the source of the income. And understanding what those numbers are, the Social Security is comprised of approximately 59%, and this is just in the way, and I can't get it out the way. Social Security is comprised of about 59% of traditional retirement accounts. I'm sorry, traditional of retirement income. Meaning, up until this point, up until today, Social Security has always been the bulk of what we use in retirement. But where are we headed? Can we say this for the next 20 years? What is the goal of what is some of the things you've been hearing in the media circles around what is supposed to happen with Social Security? So can we depend on this being the number one item for retirement income going forward? And are you prepared?
Well, then you also have people who have opted out of W-2 jobs. And
Right.
so are they paying into it the same
Right.
to be able to get it out? And
Right.
do they understand that you have to qualify for this? There's a lot more here because factors are changing that could change who qualifies, how they qualify, and those are the things that we don't have control over.
Right. And so I was able to, I don't know why I didn't let me do it before, I was able to enlarge it a little bit. All I wanted to just share with you is where we're trending. And again, when I pull up my marker, it's going to take it away. So I'm going to try to just highlight this top here at 59. It shows an incline. I guess I can do it this way. Let me try this. Yeah, there we go. This incline here as it relates to Social Security, meaning from the year 2020 on, what we've been seeing here is an increase in Americans being dependent upon Social Security. So that all that's saying is we're not reducing our dependency on Social Security, it's actually increasing. It's getting higher. So look at your own position, your own portfolio, your own, I'll call it profile, and where do you fit into this space if something were to happen to you tomorrow and you needed to retire? Where is it coming from? And use this time to prepare for what's necessary. Is there an opportunity to take more advantage of a properly designed, there we go. Take advantage of some of the vehicles that are down here, which down here at the bottom is the properly designed cash value life insurance based product. Is there an opportunity to move those up into this realm? Why? Because if it's designed correctly, what does it provide you? It provides you lifetime worth of income and security in not losing. And it's not dependent upon what someone does or doesn't do, or whether the market is or isn't performing. So it's understanding where you fit in this space and what are those vehicles we can move up the ranks so that you can have more control over making sure you're generating the income that you deserve.
You know, what's so interesting about this chart here. One is we talk a lot about the belief system behind certain strategies, right? So whole life and infinite banking being one of those. What's interesting is the one thing that they double down on, whole IBC believers, like the Church of IBC, like they go hard, right? With these whole life policies and pushing them. Nelson Nash put this book out decades ago.
What book? How to Become Your Own Bank.
How to Become Your Own Bank. That is their Bible for the infinite banking strategy, right? Mm-hmm. If you're listening to this and you're familiar with this, then how do you not see what I see? How is it that this has not trended upward? That more people, because of Nelson Nash, because this is such an effective strategy to do, how come this has not increased over time?
I can help. Because the infinite banking strategy was never designed to produce income.
That's
The
it.
infinite banking strategy is about creating a spread and investing outside of the policy. So there may be people who have leveraged their policy to go buy apartment complex and buy assets that generate and build income. But as far as the policy itself, it ends up just simply being a death benefit. So who does it benefit? The reason it's at the bottom is because it doesn't benefit me while I'm here. It's benefiting my heirs if something were to happen to me.
But the point is that where are you putting your money? In the stock market,
Right.
in a whole life policy, where are you putting your money if you're not focused on the goal? This is the difference between doing the short math. I'm not saying it can't be a part of your strategy. I'm not saying it can't be an and asset.
Right.
But even if you were to combine all of these up, one, how many of you have access to a work-sponsored pension plan?
Right.
How many of you have recently been brought onto a position with a company, and they're even offering pension plans anymore.
And this is your pension plan, and notice the dip.
Right. This is going away. It's absolutely going away. And even if you think you have it right now, the difference of a year or 5 years could be far too great.
Right.
But pensions are sunsetting for sure. They've been sunsetting pensions since the 80s. So that's not a surprise. The 401k, IRA, saving, just traditional accounts, right? We already understand why, but when you think about this percentage, the majority, where's the majority of the income coming from? The reason why Social Security is so high is because the majority of people don't have these other assets to use regardless, right?
Right. That's it. And so it goes back to control. What can you control? What can you do different? Understanding this, what are you supposed to do about it? It is just simply one, awareness, and two, understanding where you can now focus your attention on having a bit more control over making sure you can counter some of these actions that are happening in this space. Meaning, there's nothing that you or I can do about the market. There's not. And I don't accept the market's on sale, you will recover. I don't accept it. You should not either. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't an opportunity to take advantage of. It just means that that cannot be your only solution. What else are you doing to put your money in a position to where you can have more control over it so that you can build and generate wealth?
And one more thing, just one more thing before we go. There is a documentary from, and I can't even remember what it's called now, but I've talked about it before. Can't remember the name of the documentary. It's the one that takes you through the history of banking and the Great Depression.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I do.
Okay, that's a good rabbit hole to go in. And I'll figure it out and put it in the link for anybody who's like watching for later. The point of the majority of these people who are coming out with these documentaries on what's about to happen and what will happen and BRICS and all of these different things, they worked on Wall Street. They had all this expertise. They had all of this experience. And none of them are living here in the US. They are doing these documentaries from their house in Scotland, from their house in Mexico, from their house out of this country, which is interesting because if you ask them, did you move because of the financial conditions? They won't answer you, but they're not here. That's the point. They're not here. So can you survive? Can you make it with these traditional systems? Can you trade and learn the stock market and somehow level up? Sure, there are people out here, but there are also people out here who will be telling you what to buy because they benefit from you buying that, right? No different than, let's talk about the stock market crashing right before we sell at the top, right? We're going to sell at the top. And then it's going to be on sale. So then somebody else is buying what they just sold.
Billionaires becoming better billionaires.
Right. The only point that I'm trying to make is a lot of people, they're part of the plan becomes downsizing to an RV, downsizing to moving to a different country so that they can get, more bang for their buck. Right. None of that sounds like that was worth putting in 45 years.
Right.
Every day, 45 years to go and figure out how to survive. Why do we keep doing this? And I think the only point that I hope is the takeaway from especially what you just shared, is that we have better options. Right. And we don't have to keep figuring out how to game these traditional systems just because they exist. We now can take advantage of better options, better strategies, matter of fact, just using them in even different ways. Some of these, like home equity, we do that. Yeah. A lot of people that watch us do that as well now, and they've seen the impact that it's had in just a short few months even. The amount of debt that they've been able to crush, the amount of leverage they've been able to access, and the plan forward and the math forward that they've been able to implement just simply without making an extra dollar, with just simply restructuring it in a different way, can be powerful. and life-changing for a lot of families. And we're grateful to be able to share all that because obviously for us, it started with access to information. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
That's it. That was it. Like I said, fairly quick. I just wanted to just highlight that mainly because what I'm seeing in my timeline says something different. It says you shouldn't be concerned about what recovery means. And I think you should absolutely 100% not be fooled by what these people are telling you, because recovery means time. Time means compound cycles. Compound cycles mean I'm not making as much money as I was, which impacts my ability to be able to have the freedom that I want. It impacts your WTF moment.
Yeah. And we don't have time. We can't pay with time either anymore. We got recovery at home. We got stock options at home. That's if you're thinking about it, if you hear these, you're scrolling and you're thinking, well, maybe we should go in there and buy them. Just tell yourself we've got stock. Until we do the math, we've got stock options at home. That's where we need to be shopping, is right here at home. I couldn't. Yeah. Okay. Veronica says, different types of water rights exist based on various forms of water that border or exist on a property. So that makes sense, because if you own the water rights, it's a monopoly, right?
Wait a minute. But
you can buy water rights on monopoly too.
I need specifics though. Are we saying a well, if I own this piece of land and I've got a well on that land, like,
Yeah.
Trying to understand how I can buy the water rights, meaning I can now go to that owner of that property and say, hey, I would like to buy this well on your land for X amount, pay you whatever that X amount is. Now I have full access to be able to transition that water wherever I want and sell it however I want. Is that
No, I think it's more like undeveloped land, and you own the water rights for that area. And if anybody wants to develop and tap into, right?
Yep.
They got to go through you. You're the troll under the bridge now, right?
Okay.
So if
I'm
they
a
want to
wholesaler now.
No, you're a retailer. You could be a wholesaler, but now you're the retailer.
I love it. I mean, my point is there's so many non-traditional investments out there that give you an opportunity. So thank you for that, Veronica, because I'm telling you, to this day, I talk about it all the time, but I have no idea what a water right is.
Yeah, Veronica, our resident rabbit hole hunter, she was on it. She was quick too. Been up there for a minute. Okay, I don't think we have any questions.
I assume there would be. This is Saturday afternoon. I get it. Again, the whole purpose was to get on here, and as far as I'm concerned, sweetheart, we can also outro from here as well.
Okay.
Right here.
Well, if you have, if you've not been tuning in, you want to jump in and become a part of this conversation. On our next live, we will be back on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As a matter of fact, it's about to be daylight savings time, so we probably should.
So that would be 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I just said 6. So
Now I'm confused. So 6 would be 9 Eastern.
yeah, that's what we've been doing to them.
We've been going 6 our time, which is
No.
8 Eastern. Right now, yes.
Okay.
We'd be married on our lives, man. We hashing it out right here.
Well,
figuring it out.
here's the part. We were going 6 our time because the time changed. Time doesn't change for Arizona, which is so ridiculous, by the way.
Right. Our time doesn't change, but we are now matched up with Pacific now. Right?
Yeah.
When it changes. So when it changed for everybody else, we will now be matched up with Pacific, which makes us a 3-hour difference Eastern wise.
So what time is it going to be then? Because we clearly are not on the same page with the times. What time you guys want us to come on?
We'll
How about that?
Figure it out later.
All right. Well, it's going to be
Over dinner.
5:30 now. We're just going to schedule it for 5:30. Cynthia Lohman. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey,
Great to
Cynthia.
see you. She says, I've been learning how to trade options since 2017. It's extremely difficult for a retail trader to do so successfully on a consistent basis. This is definitely not the time to try it.
Well, here's what I tell, because I've got a lot of day traders who reach out to me, and I'll share with you the same thing I share with them. It's to skim off the top. Because here's what again, I'm not saying you are them, But here's how a lot of my day trading clients think. When things are good, I want to put more in so that things can continue to get great. I would take a percentage approach. When things are good, take 20% and put it in a vehicle more secure. So it's skim off the top, take 20%, dump it into a secure compound interest account, let's just say. And now, as that 20% starts to compound, if you have a dip in the market like what just occurred, you're still going to be impacted, but that 20% that you've been putting in over the last several months is now compounding on its own. That didn't take a hit. That is continuing to do its job. And so it's not don't day trade. It's I think become a bit more savvy in being able to pivot when you need to pivot. So do your day trade. You're probably great at it. Be awesome. But then skim off the top. Take a portion of those dollars that you're making and put it in a vehicle that has a bit more secure. Again, it's the equations, right? You're in an equation right now as a day trader that has risk. So how can I skim off the top and move those dollars into an equation that is reduced or eliminated risk? That's the key.
Yeah. And it's really that the doing the math part. No one's saying you should not go to Starbucks and buy coffee because of a budget, right? No one's saying that you can't go out to eat or you can't have luxuries or fun or entertainment or just things you want to do. Right. No one's saying that. But to me, anything that involves this risk should not be tied to stability. Your stability should not be dependent on these things. And so as long as you have that foundation in place, then you're good. And then you can feel a little bit more confident out there trading, jumping in the Wall Street casino. And which is fine. That's your business.
But talented people out there.
Yeah, we are in the business of first maintaining control and stability, which 78% of Americans do not have. And it's not getting easier. It's not going to get easier. But we can go farther and faster if we go together. And that's where community is important and necessary. And that's where, we feel that we can add value by just sharing what it is that we see, how we're implementing it into our own system, how we built our bank, how we're building our family bank for generational wealth, and how we're securing that so that it cannot be dismantled. That's it. That's the stream. Okay. All right. Well, we've appreciated all of you who could jump on here with us. And of course, we always appreciate your time, and we hope that we've provided value. Let me get here to the thing I'm supposed to find. Okay. We like to end with, if you didn't come from a wealthy family.
You can make sure a wealthy family comes from you.
Oh, are we here? Okay. If you didn't come from a wealthy family.
You can make sure a wealthy family comes from you.
So stay tuned.
Stay protected.
Stay focused.
Stay connected.
I'm Angelique.
And I'm Donnell.
And our goal is to help you
get self-directed.
And to do that, we have a ton of free resources, and we're constantly adding more. So we hope that you take advantage of them. We will see you back here Tuesday, 5:30. We've declared it. It's going to be 5:30. And until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in, guys.